Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're showing you how to automate some of your portfolio monitoring routines using our technical alert engine. We're going to show you how to set up a chart list full of all the stocks and funds that you own in your portfolio, and then create alerts for everything in that chart list for your own specific criteria. Whether you're looking at moving average crossovers, specific technical indicators, anything that you can think of, we're going to show you exactly how to set up alerts for all the stuff that you own in your portfolio. A big time saver, a big way to make stock charts really work for you. No matter what you're doing, if you're out on the go, you can still stay on top of the markets, monitoring your portfolio with this tool. So a lot to show you. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me here on Stock Charts in Focus, another edition of our product-focused show on the channel where we get to dive into the site, dig into the tools, show you around the features, make sure that you're getting more value out of stock charts than ever before. My name is Grayson Roze. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. And of course, we do this show every Friday. Always a fun one when we get to tour you around everything that's on the site. Last week, we had some big announcements related to all of the member limits increasing for your account. So the number of chart lists that you can create, the number of scans that you can run, the number of alerts that you can create, all of that stuff has been pumped up. We've increased almost all those numbers around the site. But we also rolled out a brand new price alerts feature last week that allows you to create price alerts for more than you've ever been able to create. Now, as part of that, we got a lot of questions about using alerts, how alerts work, how scans work, how chart lists work, all of that stuff, kind of how it all comes together. So that gave me the thought this week to show you how to create a chart list for your portfolio and then set specific technical alerts for that portfolio. This is something I've been doing for a long time. I know a lot of other contributors on stock charts have been using this trick to really monitor their portfolio. So today's show is going to be a great one where we get to actually show you how to use the alert engine to monitor the stuff that you own, the stocks and funds in your own portfolio. A big workflow boost, a lot to show you. I think this is going to be fun. Plus, I'll show you how I've set up a couple of the alerts that are important to me for monitoring my own portfolios. So lots to cover on today's show. It's going to be a packed episode. Let's get right to it. So we are starting here on the members dashboard. Of course, the first page that you see when you log into the site, I like to call it the heart and soul of your stock charts account. It gives you quick access to everything around the site that you have as a stock charts member. Of course, you've got all the tools over here on the left side. You can scroll through this list to access any of the different tools around the site. But you've also got your market overview. You've got all of your different dashboard panels that you can customize to help you watch the markets. And of course, you've got scans, alerts, chart lists, all of that stuff here on one page for you. So this page really is the heart and soul of your stock charts account. Now we're starting here though, because the first step to create alerts for your portfolio is actually to go over to the chart lists area of the site. So the first thing you need to do is create a chart list full of all the different stocks and funds that you own in your portfolio. So we've got these little buttons over here on the top right corner of the page. I do want to mention, if any of these buttons are not showing for you, the scans and alerts ones in particular, you can always click the little gears icon, make sure that scans and alerts is checked. This is the dashboard preferences window that actually allows you to customize the panels that show up on your dashboard. So if those buttons are missing, make sure that you've got scans and alerts checked to turn on that row. I'm going to hit save here. We are going to click this chart list button though, because what these give you is quick access to your chart list, your scans and alerts further down the page. So I'll hit chart lists. Now, what we're looking at here is all of the different chart lists in my account. And like I mentioned, if we want to create alerts for our portfolio, or as we're actually going to show you at the end of the show, if you want to run scans on your portfolio, same kind of concept, the first step is to create a chart list full of everything that you own. So we're going to show you how to do that right now. That's going to be our starting place for today's show. I've come down to the dashboard because this is one of the easiest places to create new chart lists. As you can see, you've got a whole list of all the different chart lists in your account, but at the top right corner of this little panel, you've got a new button. So I'm going to hit new, and I am going to type in a name for our new chart list. My portfolio, something basic. Right here, you're just entering a name for your new chart list. You hit create new list, and we're off to the races. Where we are now is over on the edit page. As you can see here, we've got edit selected. We're on the edit page for that new empty list that we've called my portfolio. So from here, what you need to do is fill in this chart list with all of the different stocks and funds that you own. You've got a couple of different options here at the bottom of this page. You can add one symbol at a time, typing in the ticker symbol, setting a name if you'd like, or adding any comments. If you do leave the chart name field blank, we'll actually fill that in with the company name for you. The easiest way though, if you're starting from scratch, adding everything that you own in your portfolio, you're probably gonna have multiple ticker symbols, I would assume. So you can come over to this menu tab and actually type in a list of ticker symbols, separated by a comma or separated by a return. If you wanna put each individual symbol on a separate line, you can type in that list of ticker symbols that you own in your portfolio, hit add charts, and that is gonna fill in this new chart list with all of the stuff that you own. Now, to save us a little bit of time, I've actually cheated here and I've created a sample list for us. I got a ton of chart lists in my account, by the way. You can see me scrolling through that list. Up at the top though, I've got this sample portfolio list that I've created. So once you've filled in your new chart list, your portfolio chart list with all of those different symbols that you own, it's probably gonna look something like this over on the edit page. So here we've got 15 symbols that I've thrown into this sample portfolio that we're gonna work with today. Now from here, you've got a full chart list full of all the stuff that you own. So we're talking today about alerts and how you can use the alert engine as a portfolio monitoring tool. But I do wanna mention, while we're kind of over in the chart list world and we've created this portfolio chart list, the other important monitoring tool that you have available to you is the chart list itself that you've created. So personally, I like to use the summary page. This is something that I have. I've got, again, multiple portfolios, and I have all of the different stocks and funds and mutual funds, ETFs, all of that stuff across these different portfolios. I've got an individual chart list for each one. And I am constantly coming over to the summary page for those chart lists to see what I own is doing. So here you've got the all the symbols, you've got scooter scores, you've actually can customize all these different columns. So this in and of itself is a very, very powerful monitoring tool. If you haven't taken your portfolio and created a chart list for it, I highly encourage you to do that. That's going to be sort of step one for our portfolio monitoring tools here on StockCharts. I will mention also, since we have it up on the screen, once you've created that portfolio and you're over here in the summary view, two of the tools that I love to use and that I rely on quite heavily are actually our daily and weekly reports. So if you check either of these boxes, at the close of the market, you can actually choose the timing of that too. But at the close, we're going to send you an email report with everything in this chart list. It gives you a really beautiful summary of what everything in that chart list did. Now you can use this for your portfolio. You can also use it for market lists. So if you want to take all the major indexes, put those in a chart list, and then turn on the reports for it. That's another way to actually get these little email reports at the end of the day with a summary of everything that happened. I like to use it for the sectors as well. So I've got a chart list that has all of the different S&P sectors in it, and I've got the daily and weekly reports turned on for that. Another way to keep an eye on those as I'm kind of out on the go. So these daily and weekly reports, a very, very helpful little monitoring tool, especially once you create a chart list that's full of all the stuff that you own in your portfolio. So while we're over in this chart list view, wanted to mention that. But what we have now is this chart list created. It's got everything that we own in it. We can turn on those reports. We can view this in 10 per page, chart book, any of those views. But the other thing that we can do is actually create alerts for this chart list. We can also do this with scans, as we're going to show you at the end of the show too. We can actually run scans on this chart list as well. So from here, we've got a couple of different ways to get back to the alert engine. I'll show you those right now. Over here in the top right menu, when you're logged into the site, you've got that little drop-down menu when you click on your name, and you can come over and click Your Alerts. That's actually going to take you to the Alert Center. That's a nice, quick, easy way to get to the Your Alert page. You can also go back to your dashboard though. And from here, you've got access to the Alert Workbench. Here in the Member Tools area, you've also got that little Alerts button over here where you can jump down and get to your alerts from there. So a couple of different ways as you're working around the site, you get a couple of different ways to get over to your alerts. Now, I'm gonna hit View All and give you a summary of all the alerts that I have created in my account. And if I actually sort this by name, you'll be able to see that I've created a whole bunch of what I call portfolio alerts. I've actually grouped those together with a little sort of starred naming convention. I put star portfolio before all of those alerts. But that's what we're gonna show you today. I got another one over there. That's what we're gonna show you today is how to create alerts for your portfolio. So to do that, we're gonna jump over to the Technical Alert Workbench. We're gonna click over to Advanced Alert because what we're gonna be creating today are advanced alerts for your portfolio. And from here, we're gonna start working through the criteria. So you notice that you've got this big empty box here, but you've got a couple of different options above that as well. These are sort of the settings for how you want to be notified. We're going to run this alert continuously all day by default, but you've also got a couple of different options at market open, hourly, at the close. If the number of results is greater than 0, we're going to send you an alert. You can change this though if it is less than, greater than, or equal to. You've got a bunch of different options there, and you can type in a number. And then you have your sort of notification or delivery method. So we've got email, we've got text, we've also got site notifications, and a nice little trick here, if you hold down Shift, you can actually select all of these. You can select multiple options. So if you wanted an email and a text when the alert fires off, you can actually do that here by clicking email, hold down Shift, also click SMS or text, and you can actually select both of those from this menu. And then once the alert fires, you've got an option for pausing it, deleting it, or continuing it. In this case, because we're creating a portfolio alert, we're probably going to want to continue this alert. From there, we jump down into the actual alert criteria itself. Now, this looks very similar to scans. Scans on alerts on StockCharts are actually built on the same engine behind the scenes. So the criteria, the way that you write them, the way that they look is very, very similar, almost identical. You'll notice that the Advanced Alert Workbench actually looks almost the same as the Scan Workbench. What we can actually do though, instead of handwriting all this stuff yourself, that is an option if you know the criteria well enough. But what I like to do personally is come down to the alert components. And from here, you can choose between all of these different options. So we've got specific technical indicator moves. We've got different ticker properties like the type, the PE ratios, market cap, all of that stuff for you, country, exchange, what exchange a specific symbol is traded on. You've got all of these different options for you. And all you have to do is click something in one of these menus, hit the little add button, and we're automatically going to grab that alert criteria and load it up into this top panel for you. So it makes it really easy to start building alerts without actually having to write all of the syntax yourself. Now, the one that we're going to draw your attention to today is down here under chart lists. So what we can do is open this menu up, and you'll see that at the very top of it, we've got that sample portfolio chart list. That list actually behind the scenes has a number to it, a specific ID set on it. So we're going to select that from this menu. I'm going to hit add. And what you'll see now is that we've got this little syntax in here that says favorites list is 89. So that's the ID from that sample portfolio list that we've created. And you'll notice that here we actually have the name. This is our way of adding the name to the syntax. So what we've done here is we've specified a specific list that we want to run an alert on. From here now, the sky really is the limit. You can add anything that you want from this alert components area. You can start to build your different technical criteria into this alert and start to create alerts based on your criteria for everything that's in this list. Now, it's a little bit convoluted, a little bit complex. I want to show you two resources though that are going to help. One is down here at the bottom. You've got a link to our documentation on how to start writing alerts. But you've also got what we call scan examples. Again, I mentioned that alerts and scans actually very, very similar behind the scenes. So we've got a link here to scan examples, or as we call it in the documentation, our advanced scan library. This gives you quick access to lots of different scans that have been sort of pre-written for you. So for instance, we've got lots of sample scans in here that you can start to actually copy and paste. So for instance, if you wanted something like a golden cross, which is when the 50 crosses above the 200, we've got the syntax for you right here. All you have to do is copy that, come back over to the advanced alert workbench, hit return, and paste that in here. So now you've got that saved syntax in here, that alert syntax in here. And what this is going to do, we can actually delete this type equals stock. What this is going to do is take that chart list that we've created, that sample portfolio list that we've created, and anytime the 50-day moving average crosses above the 200-day moving average for anything in that list, we're going to get an alert. So that's how you can sort of use this sample scan library to start building these alerts for your portfolio. It really is that simple, and we can start to build alerts for anything that we can dream up. So if you had specific technical indicator moves that you wanted to do, maybe RSI crossing above 70 or RSI crossing below 30, specific MACD moves, you can even do price relative, lots and lots and lots of stuff that you can do with these alerts, and you can really start to get creative. Again, a great place to go to get ideas is over to this sample scans area. There is tons and tons and tons of stuff in here. For instance, we can see bullish MACD crosses. We've got RSI moves. We've got short-term EMA crossovers. Lots and lots of sample scans in here for you to start playing around with. And you can pick the criteria that's important to you and pick the criteria that you actually want to use to track what you own in your portfolio. Now, what I want to show you is how I've built this for myself, because as I mentioned, I've got all of those different portfolio alerts created for my portfolios. Mine is a little bit different though, because instead of having one portfolio or one chart list with everything that I own, I've actually got a couple of different portfolios. For instance, for different retirement accounts, for my individual brokerage accounts, I have all of those actually organized into separate chart lists. Separate portfolios get separate chart lists for me. So I am actually able to combine those different chart lists, those different portfolio lists into one group and run alerts on a set of chart lists. That'll make sense when I pull up this sample. We're going to do, for instance, the first one in this list. For anything in my portfolio, I want to know when something that I own crosses below the 50-day moving average. So this is going to look pretty similar to what we were just looking at. We've got, again, those specific chart lists in here. So I've got little nicknames for my different chart lists, but each one has that same ID. And what I've actually done to sort of group these together, you notice that instead of just having one of these lines, I've got and then a little bracket. And I've put the list onto a separate line down below to make it a little bit easier to see. I've got the first list that I want to monitor. Then I do or, you can see that or there. And then I have the second list that I want to monitor. I have another or and the third list. So all of my different portfolios are actually separated onto different lines. And when you think about this, what I'm saying is if a specific stock, which actually includes ETFs in our case, so I've kind of kicked out the mutual funds. I'm looking at the stocks that I own and the ETFs that I own. That's what's sort of grouped in here under type equals stock. But what I'm doing with this block here is if it's a stock or an ETF and it's part of this list or 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 this list, and this specific move happens, then I want to get an alert. That's basically what this syntax is saying. So I've got specific alerts in my account for this group of chart lists. I've got specific alerts for anything crossing below the 50-day. As you can see here, I've got anything crossing below the 100-day, which is a very, very similar structure. I've just changed this to be close crosses below the simple moving average, 100-day simple moving average at the close. So I've got a portfolio alert created for anything that I own crossing below the 100-day moving average. I've also got one for anything that I own crossing below the 200-day moving average. And as you can see, I've got a couple others. I've got anything that I own crossing below a 49.99 scooter score. So sort of falling into the bottom 50%, 50th percentile. I've got death cross portfolio alerts created. So anytime the 50 crosses below the 200. And then as we were looking at with that sample, actually, I've also got the golden cross created in here. So I've got anytime the 50 crosses above the 200 for anything I own. So I've created all of these different portfolio alerts and they fire off anytime any of these moves happen, which makes it really easy to track the stocks and funds that I own without having to constantly be watching the charts. As I'm going about my day, as I'm going about my work life, my personal life, all that stuff, I've got these alerts kind of working for me in the background, making it really easy to stay on top of my portfolio. So it really is that simple to create these advanced alerts for your portfolio. Again, the first step is to actually create a chart list for everything that you own in a portfolio. Then you come on over to the advanced alert workbench, use this little builder down here at the bottom to specify which chart list you want to run an alert on. And then from there, the world is your oyster. You can go absolutely nuts creating advanced alerts for any technical criteria that you can dream up. Now, I mentioned that we were also going to take a look at scans. Really quickly, the same concept applies. So we can take, again, this sort of same block of lists or just one list at a time. We can go over to the advanced scan workbench, which, as you'll notice, looks very, very similar to the advanced alert workbench. From here, we can do something similar. So we've got our sort of default criteria in here. I'm actually going to delete that. And I'm going to come down to the bottom, open up that chart list menu. And again, we've got our sample portfolio. I'm going to hit add. And now as I scroll back up, you can see that we have that up here at the top. So again, we can start to actually run scans for any criteria that we want on our portfolio. We've got our sample portfolio chart list in here. And so any scan criteria that we add is going to be scanning the items that are in here. Now, I do want to mention one of the nice things about this is that that list can be updated over in the chart list itself as you're buying and selling different stocks, different ETFs, whatever it is. That list might change over time. When you set up these alerts or when you're running these scans, because you can create all these scans and save them to your account, anytime you change that list, the alert is going to be looking at the list itself, anything that's in the list. The scan is going to be looking at the list itself, anything that's in that list. So we do see some people occasionally that will take a portfolio, for instance, and they'll actually hard code in all of the different symbols that they own into an alert or into a scan. Well, the downside of that is that as your portfolio changes, that scan or that alert isn't going to evolve with you. The nice thing about creating a chart list that has your portfolio in it and then setting alerts on that chart list or running scans on that chart list, as your portfolio changes, those scans and alerts are going to sort of follow along with you. So the beautiful thing, for instance, if I go actually back over to let's go to my portfolio crossing below the 50-day. Again, I've got all of these different chart lists with all my different portfolios. And those are constantly evolving. I'm always buying and selling things. Those portfolios are constantly changing. But this alert, which I've created, I've set it up, and I've gone away. I've saved it, and I just let it continue to run. This alert just continues to track the changes that I'm making over in those chart lists. So I don't have to worry about updating that list of ticker symbols over here in the alert world. Or if we were in the scan world, I don't have to worry about updating it over there. So a nice feature there of sort of creating one of these portfolio chart lists makes it really easy to track what you own and chart what you own as a chart list and over in the sort of charting workbenches. But also if you're creating scans and alerts for your portfolio, this makes it a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, a lot easier. That's pretty much it for today's show. Again, I know we didn't dive into all of the different syntax and how to create these alerts, how to take technical criteria and build it into one of these. We'll save that for another show. But I do want to point your attention back over to that sample scans page. Again, scans and alerts, very, very similar. The syntax actually works in both tools. The same syntax works in both tools. So you've got a lot to explore here in our sample scans area of the documentation. Back on that advanced scan library, we've also got predefined scans. We've got user contributed scans. There's a ton in here for you to explore. And what we've done by sort of clipping those out and putting them in these little gray boxes, we've made it really easy for you to just copy and paste right from here over into the scan workbench or the alert workbench. So it makes it really easy to start creating custom scans and custom alerts using this documentation. Again, just using a simple copy and paste. So you can start to put these together too. If you want to combine a specific moving average crossover with a specific technical indicator like the RSI doing something while the moving averages are doing something else, you can start to use some of these sample scans to actually combine those sort of into one. So lots that you can do here with our sample scan library. If you're interested in creating advanced scans and advanced alerts, definitely something that you should explore. Now, I know we covered a ton on today's show, lots to show you, but hopefully it gives you a sense of kind of how you can use some of these different tools, chart lists, scans, and alerts to actually monitor your portfolio. A little bit of work to set this stuff up, but then it really does work for you for a long time. So, for instance, for me, I've got these, like you saw, a couple of different portfolios all organized into those different chart lists. But as I'm kind of working through those lists, changing things, buying and selling things, my alerts, my scans, they're all kind of working for me. And all of that stuff, having those alerts, sending emails to your phone whenever something goes off, sending you a text whenever something goes off. You can get a little website notification too if you're on StockCharts and a technical alert goes off. It really is a portfolio management kind of workflow boost. It's intended to be there to help you monitor what you own, help you stay ahead of the market, stay on top of what's happening out there in the stocks and funds that you own. And you can also use this same concept though for specific index lists for the sectors. You can do this for watch lists if you've got a watch list full of different stocks and funds that you're interested in kind of stocking, maybe interested in taking a position in. You can do the same thing, put all of those into a chart list, create alerts and scans for them. Makes it easy to follow when any of those things that you're watching closely are making a specific technical move. You can actually jump right on it because you get a text right to your phone or an email right to your phone. So lots of ways to make these features work for you. And again, kind of combining chart lists with those scans and alerts makes it really powerful. I'm sure you got a lot of questions. Again, dig into some of that documentation. We will continue to cover more on scanning and alerts on future editions of the show. If you're new to the show, by the way, remember we do this every Friday. We've got it on StockCharts TV. We also have it up on our YouTube channel after that, and of course on the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. So lots of different ways to watch the show, to follow us. But every Friday, we've got new episodes of StockCharts In Focus, similar to this, just kind of helping you see what's out there, show you around the site, show you around the tools and the features. And always I'm sprinkling things in from my own personal use of all these different tools. So hopefully you see that and it helps give you some ideas about how to use stock charts in your own approach to the market. I want to thank you again for joining me. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts. It's been a blast to be with you. We will continue to dig into alerts and scans and chart lists and all of these different tools and features on future editions of StockCharts In Focus. So join me every Friday for new editions of the show. But until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.